Hello, welcome to the Horizon Video Media Podcast Thingamabobber. Let's do the thing and talk about life. Today we're talking about school things and our experiences within that topic.
Well, my big thing, I kind of poised some of this. My big thing was, so I majored in journalism, media, strategic communications.
Mm-hmm.
So, and especially now, I'm a junior, latter half of the semester. I'm just doing all required classes, knocking everything out. So senior year is just all going to be easy electives. And what I've noticed is in different classes and different communication classes, it's the same thing every single time. I feel like I've done 4 different photo things in different classes. I've done 4 different video, 4 different audio projects. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like one of those things where it's just like, if you remember doing assignments, like that could be one of 50 classes, you know? They kind of blend in together and like they kind of cover the same topic. And I get that's how communication is. But one question I kind of posed to you guys is, out of all the classes, and again, be subjective and everything, which ones like were completely like would not take again, didn't learn a thing, and which ones have been the most, rather you learn the most helpful to you? Like, what would be your things that stick out?
In college or in general?
Do college, yeah.
Okay, so college, I don't remember the exact name of the class. I believe it was Intro to European History.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't because of the class itself. It was because the professor did absolutely nothing.
that would do it.
So I would not recommend that class unless you have a different teacher.
Right.
I'm not sure I should say that teacher's name.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
He has tenure anyway, or else he would have gone a long time ago. Just did absolutely nothing. I don't know how to describe it. You walk in, it's like there's gonna be an in-person class, and he just turned on a history channel video of the Minoans or ancient Greece, anything like that, and just let us watch it. And that was the class period. We just watched.
Are you serious?
Movie. Yeah, I'm not kidding at all. And we do that every single day until halfway through the semester when he just stopped showing up. And it was to give us assignments to do online. And he graded them all on the very, very last day. And he'd constantly be like, oh, we're going to be here this time. And then me and one other guy would show up and he wouldn't be there. It was interesting. I'll leave it at that.
Well, waste
of time, that's what it is.
What drives me nuts, when you tell me like professors, I don't think I had like an atrocious professor in terms of teaching. Like I've had personalities I just didn't like, which is something different.
Yeah.
But the craziest thing ever, I took a public speaking class, I think last year, like fall semester. And it was like, or I think it may have been like second semester of my freshman year. But anyway, it was still enough where everyone had to wear a mask. That's how like long back it was. So it was public speaking, very hard to do in person. So there's like 15, 16 of us. And it's normal public speaking. You write different speeches. You would read them in front of the class. And how this teacher operated is after we did like the day of presenting speeches, you would be assigned to his office hours. He recorded these speeches. You two would watch it. He'd be like, critique you. It's like, this should go here. Maybe you should speak with more emphasis, stuff like that. And I'll never forget that. I almost died laughing and I was in shock. I couldn't speak. So it was like the first or second one we go in and I got like an A. Like I did really good on it. And he starts going through the like normal thing. He's like, I don't know, he was introduction. I might trim it down a little bit, like normal stuff. And then at the end he goes, also, you have a bit of a higher pitched voice for a man and listeners can find that annoying. I was like, what do you want me to do about it?
That's not something you really change.
I was like, okay. And he's like, anyway, like gave me the paper. It was like 92 out of 100. But I walked out and I'm like the class like as a whole, I think that's one of the few classes I think everyone should take.
I agree. I wasn't going to say that.
Like I had, like again, that was just a teacher being a teacher. But as a class, I've talked to people that are 10 years my senior and they can't even speak. Like it's crazy, like stuff like that. So I feel like not even like, oh, you need to learn how to do a demonstration speech. Just how to like actually talk.
To communicate effectively with not even just other students, but like when you go out for job interviews or just meeting and networking with other adults, like you have to have, there can't be a barrier between their communication and yours. You have to know how to properly and effectively communicate with everybody, not just a specific group or niche of people. And I think my public speaking class, I loved my public speaking teacher, and I also had her during COVID. So we were like, for a minute, we were actually online doing public speaking. So we would have to get on Zoom and present our speeches through Zoom. And then finally, I think we got to meet in person like a few times towards the end and do our public speaking. But the way she taught the class, it was so helpful. She gave great feedback, and I still love her to this day. Like, she's still a great professor. We keep in touch, and she just has really helped me overall with my speaking skills. I don't get as nervous anymore, like getting up in front of the class. That used to be like a huge thing for me. I hated it. But now I'm just like, okay, everybody's doing this. It's just going to happen.
It's like, that's what I always felt like when people are like, oh, I don't want to be judged. I'm like, there's 16
We're
people.
all getting judged.
Well, it's not even like that. I'm just like, there's 16 people in that class. Everyone knows they have to do it. No one's thinking like, oh, that guy's screwing up, or wow, they're knocking it out of the park. They're just there to get it over with.
One thing I learned too was whenever you do make a mistake while you're up public speaking or even presenting a project, you are typically the only person who realizes you made that mistake.
Yep.
Nobody else.
Yeah.
And that's one thing you have to get past. I feel like, because for a really long time, I would make a mistake and I would think my whole presentation or my whole public speaking was done.
Just drop the letter grade.
I would get so upset and I'd be like, okay, everybody knows I made that mistake. And now when I make a mistake, I just continue on. And then you can see such a difference of me like continuing on once I make that mistake. And then back when I used to just like let it crush my whole world. And it's made such a difference. And that's something I actually learned in that public speaking class, is you just got to keep trucking along. And I don't know, that class, I just feel like no matter what, you need to take that class.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's just an elective, I think it's really beneficial.
I think it's required for most majors. I don't know if it's for all of them, but most ones
Is
I
it?
encountered have it, yeah.
Is it? I thought it was. It could be gen ed.
It might be. I know.
I
for
hope
sure
so.
have it.
I don't know.
What about you, Bango? Any class you took that was like, oh, I learned a lot, or you would be like, absolutely never again?
Like both.
Either or, whatever stands out.
Before COVID, I was in a biology class, and it was actually right before COVID started, like right as soon as it started.
Mm-hmm.
It was really difficult at the start, and I was destined to fail. But when COVID happened, my teacher was an elderly woman, so she didn't know how to use Canvas well.
Oh no!
So she didn't really require. All of our assignments were textbook based. There was a lot of studying, reading. I had so many like study buddies for that class. But then when COVID happened, she said, "Scrap all that. We're just going outside and taking pictures of bugs." So I passed with like a high grade in a very hard class. But I think they should make biology not as difficult as it is if it's like a prerequisite that everyone has to take.
I'm living through that right now. I have biology right now.
I
now
loved
they're
it.
taking pictures of bugs.
No, do you got like textbooks?
Yeah, I got textbooks and stuff to read. Have an exam on Monday. I'm going through it.
Monday
Not my least
exams,
favorite
I feel like, are unnecessary. That like ruins my whole weekend.
I love it.
What? Why?
I'm a big don't touch my weekend. I want to get everything done. I got friends that are in like Corden and stuff like that. So I would rather spend the night and like do Sunday stuff. Like I do my whole weekend just in a different place. So if I can get exams done, projects done, as many things done as possible for the weekend, I'll do it. Even if it's like optional, like, oh, it's open Monday, but it's due until Friday, I'll do it Monday, Tuesday night. I got no problem with it.
But the implication is like you study during the weekend, though.
Yeah, that was my thing.
Yeah.
I have this weird, I don't think, if I had I'm trying to think, I probably studied maybe 2 hours in totality in my entire college career.
Yeah.
Here's my biggest strength and weakness as a student. I can like retain knowledge pretty well. If I'm like, when people say they have photographic memory, I have that, but with words. I can just remember facts pretty well, but I am the biggest procrastinator you can ever think of. So I'll say I don't want to do the weekend, so I won't do something besides exams Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And on Thursday, I'll knock out 9 assignments. Like, it's like, all right, I don't got work today. It's 12 hours, and, just bull rush this thing through. And I'm not saying that's the right way to do things. It's definitely not the smartest, but that's just how I do things.
I mean, if it works, it works.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, like I don't even, kind of like how he was talking about like more textbook oriented. Like I feel like older, like many years ago, college was more like group activity, more hands-on, how he mentioned study buddies and all that stuff. And now, especially with Canvas, it's more just you oriented. You know, I've outside, like, I had friends I hung out with on campus, but we never studied.
Canvas is just like a task. It's like just to get stuff off of your to-do list.
Exactly.
Yes.
And it's so, here's like my biggest like problem with like Canvas. I love it for what it is. Like, you know,
simple.
simple.
Easy to use.
It puts everything in like a nice timeline so you know what's due. But what drives me absolutely nuts with it is like the interface is horrible.
It is.
I'm like, because it's, and also like, I don't want to call professors out because I get jobs hard, I couldn't do it. But especially like grading. If you have one class where, like, especially now, I have one class, or when I turn something in, I'll get a grade back in 2 hours.
Yes.
Like, it's crazy. And then I know some where I'm like, it's a month before you get an assignment, and you've already done 7. And so if you screwed up on 1, you screwed up on those 7.
Right, and then it puts you behind, and it makes you seem like you're doing something wrong, but you never got initial feedback to better yourself or better your assignments.
Exactly. And that, it just drives me up a wall. And again, I don't want to call out professors. I get it. But it's like that thing. It's like, and now I'm like, I feel like I get confused on what classes. Like, I'll do a whole project and forget what class it's for. Because I don't go in the module. I go on the to-do list and just read the thing.
I do too. I honestly do too. I feel like modules, looking at the modules, they overwhelm me, first of all, because you read it and it's like, this module is designed to take 4 hours. And I'm like, there's 3 things in it. How is it supposed to take 4 hours?
I had a big one where it was, didn't mean to cut you off, but it was 12 hours. But to their credit, it wasn't like it was a weekly thing. Like, to this whole project, it should take you 12 hours. I'm a fast worker, okay? And if it's an opinionated piece, it's done in a day.
Yeah.
And so that's like another thing that bothers me is, you ever had the ones where it's like you need to scroll through and it like checks it off before you can move on to the next thing?
Yes.
I'm like, what's the point? Like, if I was a teacher, I would be like, all right, here's the module. Everything's open. Yes, you have due dates, get done in your leisure. If you want to just the whole month of January on your free time, do the whole 4-month class in a month, that's you. You know, I mean, you get an A in it, congratulations. Now it's easier for you the rest of the year. I think you should do that, because limiting, like, you get quizzes that are like locked at certain times and days. I'm like, what are you talking about? I just read this. I'm ready to go. Like, the learning material is still there. That's never locked. It's the assignments that are locked. Mm-hmm. So if I want to study on a Saturday or read the stuff on a Saturday, like, cool, I just read it. It's fresh in my brain. Let me do the quiz. And that will be locked for 2 days. And it's like, do I have to read it twice now? Am I just banking on my memory for that thing? That, to me, is what's really, like, annoying about that.
I feel that a lot, because with me, there's certain days I'm really productive and I'll get a ton of stuff done. And there's days where I will do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't control that. It's just how it is. So you kind of got to hope that school goes along with it, which is so dumb because it's completely random.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go through, get it all done, or not.
See, that is so me, because I will literally sit in Coffee Crossing and get like 12 things done. I need to. But then the next day, I'm on my couch watching TV and I'm not even moving.
Well, here's another thing that drives me nuts. I want to see your stance on this. So we all do the discussion post, where it's
those
like,
are a waste of time.
I hate those.
I agree with that. But here's what's an even more crime. I'm taking a class now. It's my second class that's done
replying to other students.
Not even that. So it's like, it's like replying to 2 people. It's like, all right, fine, I guess. I understand, like, it's replacing the interaction you would have in a normal classroom. But here's what drives me nuts. They're like, post on a Wednesday, and then you have to reply on different days.
Oh, like on a Friday or something?
So if it's due, so like if I did a normal discussion, I would do the discussion and reply to 2 people, and that's it.
Immediately.
But now I have this thing I just turned in today on Wednesday. I have to reply to one classmate on Thursday, wait 24 hours, reply to another on Friday. And if you do it before, like if you do 2 in one day, you get penalized for it.
What?
I'm like, what is the point of that? If I reply to 2 people, it doesn't matter if I do it 24 hours.
And you're going to have to do it anyway, so why not just do it at once?
That to me is like the new thing that truly irks me. Like,
I've never had to do it like that.
It's so dumb. It's my second class I've ever done. I had something like this like last year. It's, without a doubt, I can't stand it.
I get the point of discussion posts, and I understand where everybody is coming from, but the minimum words that we have to have for some classes, I had a maximum word limit for one class. It couldn't be over 1,000 words. And then I had one teacher who made us have 2,500 word initial posts and then 500 word responses. And I get the initial post because it's just like allowing you to demonstrate what you understand about the topic in the module. because it's an online class and I get it. Some people, like, I'm sure we all just wing right through it. But then at the same time, responding to classmates, I feel like it's a waste of time because for one, everybody's comment is the same. And for two, to be able to respond to somebody else, you don't even have to read their entire post. I can pick 2 sentences out of their entire post and make my whole response out of those 2 sentences. So I'm not even reading it, honestly.
Well, let me ask you 3 this. So obviously, like at the end of the week, like 7 people replied to you. Have you ever read in once anybody's thing?
No.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I dislike the whole community replying thing so much that usually I just don't do it, period. Like, I will take the B or the C if I don't have to do it.
It's to a degree. Like, there's some classes where you do a project and you peer review a project. That makes sense. But if it's just like, what's your favorite, most fascinating thing you learned this week? I'm like...
Or it's the initial discussion posts that get me. Like, the introduce yourselves and then you have to go and respond to 2 people. I think that's a little just too much. We're all grown adults. We don't need to talk about, like, our favorite pet or you know what I mean.
That's like, especially like freshman year, that's what was weird because in high school they were like, wait,
you get threatened, like college is hard.
Well, it's not even that. They were just like, be prepared, you get treated like adults. And I was like, I'm a pretty like mature guy. Like even when I was like 15, I love talking to like adults more.
Me too.
Like that's just my personality. So like whenever like we go, I'm like, all right, I'm in college finally, like, and there is a lot of freedom. Like you can do things obviously you can't do in high school. But the moment they're like, let's go around, everyone tell your major, what's your hometown? What do you do for fun? I'm like,
no one cares.
I don't do anything for fun.
Like, am I in church camp? It's like, what are we doing? Like, and like it's like the thing where it's like, person next to me, they don't care. If we're gonna be friends, it's not gonna be like, oh, you're
because of this.
You're from Floyd Knobs, shocker. Like it's gonna be like we just talk and natural friendship progresses. You know, people that are like, if I'm in the front row, I don't talk to people behind me.
Me too.
They don't exist.
I honestly would rather sit in the front of a class somewhere just so I can have everyone else behind me. I'm a commuter though, so I don't really have the on campus like group experience, I guess.
Something that's kind of new to me this year is I have lost a lot of patience with lectures, and here's what I mean by that. So, and all my professors I've done this to, they're okay with it. No one has said anything. I don't get like points deducted. And you've had a class with me, I'll just walk out half an hour in, because to me, it's like, all right, it's a work day. Cool, I worked. I'm done. See ya. If I'm done, I'm done. I'm not going to sit there for 45 minutes.
Waste it.
And like, sure, you could do other schoolwork. It's like.
But it's not a study hall. So why can't I go somewhere else and do it? And
like I said, no one's called me out on it. Or if it's like, even like here, like how this podcast works is we meet on a separate day and discuss what we're going to talk about. Yeah. If we meet and we discuss like, all right, Wednesday we're talking about movies we liked. And that's done in 15 minutes. I'm like, I'm seeing like, I like talking to you guys, but it's just like after a while, like.
But we're all adults and we all have stuff to get done. That
I have a life.
Yes. And it's not even just like, bye, I'm going to go do something fun. Like, bye, I've got to go to work. Bye, I babysit too. So it's like, bye, I have to go babysit. I have homework due. I have a test due before 8 p.m. Like, there's so much that we have to do between classes that if we get the opportunity to just get up and leave, I think we should all be able to take it. Because there's just and errands, like you got to think about like those small little petty errands that we all have to run, like
the bathroom.
Yeah, it's like even the bathroom, like we've got to go.
Well, it's just that's like, and like I said, no teachers called me out on it. I've not had any like attendance points deducted because I get like showing up every day. But literally, me and Courtney had this conversation. We have a class where it's a project, and you have 2 work days to get it done, and we just learned about it today. Pretty much everyone got done or is 90% done. So it's due Wednesday. We meet Monday. So I'm going to show up for 5 minutes on Monday, turn in, and walk out. Like,
what's stopping you?
Well, I'm just like, then why show up? It's like, oh, yeah, well, it affects your attendance grade. I do what you asked me to do. That's a work day. Like, grade the assignment and let's go.
I almost cannot stand. I don't even want to talk about it because I'm getting worked up.
Yeah.
Literally. We pay to be here, so I don't understand why I have to get points taken off my grade for not showing up to your class. I respect all of my teachers, but you've got to understand that some days I just do not want to do anything, and I get everybody's like that, but there are some days where I just need like a mental day, and I just don't want to go to class. I get all my work done, but there are some teachers who are like, if you miss 2 of my classes unexcused, then it's 10% off of your grade. Yep. And it's like, I will show up to 98% of your classes, but you've got to give me a break between here and there, because in the end, like, we're paying to be here. Like, you're not paying me to be here. So if I want to miss a class here and there, why can't I?
Well, what gripes me is like, if you have an A in a class, I truly do believe you have free reign to do almost whatever you want.
I agree.
Because it's like, say what you want about this guy, rather if he's lazy or he listens to music through most lectures, he's passing your class and he's excelling at this class. I'm just, like,
He clearly does not need to be here.
Well, it's just like, you get the gist. Like, here's what drove me nuts. I was in a class earlier this year, and it was like, she even said, oh, it's going to be only like 15 minutes. We'll go through this PowerPoint. I'm like, put it in an email. If you can email your lecture, don't have the lecture. Yeah. That's my, all right, so we're doing this, meet Wednesday, start working on the project. I'm like, just say that. I'm not saying that because I know I had one teacher say, like, that might be a little bit like lazy, but you hit the nail on the coffin where you were just like, we had other things to do. Like, it's one of the things I just can't stand.
And at the same time, I want to be here and I want to get a college degree, but at the same time, to make the balance work, people and professors and students have to be respectful and flexible with each other's time.
Well, that's why even like in high school, I had this whole philosophy on school. I was like a B, C student in high school, and I'm an A student now, but that was intentional. If I tried hard, I could have made honor roll. But part of my philosophy was, I'll get good grades, but if you truly focus on getting like straight A's, like making it, I'm like, you're going to be the most depressed people I ever met in my life, were people that just completely indulge themselves in schoolwork because they shut out their social life. Mm-hmm. They made it all about that. They didn't do any extracurricular activities, and they couldn't really meet anybody. I'm like, so if I have an opportunity to do really good but still have that connection to where I'm happy, I'm going to do it. And I think you need to give people that freedom, even like high school students. I'm like, some of this stuff where I'm like, they have like campus activities in high school, but I'm just like, if like study hall to me was like a big one. I'm like, you can't talk in study hall. I'm like, if you have no homework and this dude turned in all of his projects and he's not screaming and throwing books, let him chill with his friend. That's his highlight of his day, and he probably had a bad day. That's my thing. Show a little bit of humanity to people. And that's my advice to high school students. I'm not saying don't try your hardest. Like, I'm not saying that. But I'm like, maybe every once in a while,
relax.
I'm like, it's okay to have fun. Like, you're in, especially high school, you're still a kid at its soul. This is your last chance to be a kid. So go out, have fun with your friends, drive around, like, do these things. Like, once you're in college, like, now you've learned time management skills. I'm like, now you understand what's a priority, what's not a priority. Okay, I know I can skip this. I can talk to adults, and now they'll listen to what I'll say because I am one now. And that to me is like the biggest change from high school to college.
Yeah, I've never thought about that because in high school, I never thought about what I had to do after school. It was just go home, do my homework, and then like, oh, what do I want to do? Unless I had like a sport to go to or something. But then at the same time, like now it's like, oh my gosh, I have this, and this to do today. And there's not enough hours in the day for me to do it because I have 2 classes today. I have work to go to and I have homework to do on top of that. So then it just stresses me out.
Say the thing about high school, talking about if you want to get straight A's, you just get absorbed into the school process. Reminded me of that graduation class, people who all went up or, getting all the special awards, having straight A's and all that stuff. Most of them I had no clue who they were at all.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. You sacrifice social life. And like, even if you're an introverted person, I'm very extroverted, and a lot of my friends are introverted, and I refuse to believe this. You need friends. Like, I get that, like, some people like, oh, I only have 1 or 2 friends. Correct. I can't imagine people who just don't go out and talk to other people. Like, I'm not saying like judging people. I'm just like, to me, I can't imagine living life that way.
Me either, because at the end of the night, I will just like sit there and like spill my whole day to somebody. And if I didn't have that, I feel like I would be like mental or something because I'd be sitting there talking to myself.
Well, even if it isn't friends, like even if like you still, like, if you had a close relationship with like your mom or your dad.
Yes.
I do that with my mom a lot.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like, that's still somebody. Like I've known, there's one dude in my life, I can't understand it. He'll DoorDash everything, even like groceries. I mean, no friend, no girlfriend, like just complete, his parents are out of state. He doesn't pick up the phone. He's just like, I can sit in my room and just chill. I'm like, that seems like a super villain in the making.
See, I do that all the time, so you described me. I do have friends though.
I was gonna say I have a topic to talk about.
What's up?
I was just wondering, how much time we have left because I don't want to.
I don't know. Remember how long we need to go?
So we got like a few. This could be like the last thing we hit
Okay,
for the
yeah,
day.
we'll
So
do-
you,
yeah.
yeah, we got it.
I was just wondering if anyone else is like intimidated of like what's after college. Is anyone else like?
Yeah, I feel like there's not an. I'm graduating in May, and I feel like there's not enough time for me to finish my classes, get my life together, like, and get everything in order before graduation to like start like an actual adult life.
Yeah. Does anyone else feel like they're good to go?
I don't like thinking about that question. So
Not good to
probably
go.
right.
I don't feel good to go, but I feel like confident to keep moving. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna say yes, actually. But here's what I'll give you credit. Up until like last semester, it was absolutely like, dude, I don't like after finding my big thing is I could get a job in radio, but then like, what am I gonna do next? Like once I have that job, am I just gonna is that gonna be my personality? So the big thing to me is I've always kind of had that fear. Even as a freshman, I'm like, clock has started 4 years, try to find radio, get some experience, and get on the go.
Mm-hmm.
But like. My big thing is just I don't want. My problem is I was thinking too much about a job. I got
We are all still so young. I feel like we need. I used to like not think internships were like a big deal, and I used to kind of like brush them off my shoulder when people would talk about them, thinking they were just like not a big deal. But now that I'm the age I am, I think any internship that is like looking for new people to come aboard, I think everybody needs to do it because it gives you an option to go somewhere for a specific period of time and then leave. And then once you leave, you decide, hey, did I like that or did I not like that? Do I go somewhere that's similar to there or do I ask if I want to stay there and like further my time?
Mm-hmm.
And that has like, I've tried that a few times and it really put me in a mindset of like understanding truly what I do and what I don't want in a work environment, how I want my work environment to be with not even just my coworkers, but like my supervisors. What do I want in a supervisor? What do I want in a coworker? Like, what do I like about this job and what do I not like? And it's opened up so many doors and it helps me understand what I want my true like actual career to be when it's like time for me to like actually sit down and be like, okay, school's done. We've got to like settle down.
Well, that's my thing is like, I feel like most people think job. I recall, and that's kind of smart. Like you're kind of fresh in your head. You can get connections and counselors will help you. My big thing is like life. I was so scared. Like kind of was just saying, I was like, I can get a job, but then what? So that was something I was battling with for like a very long time. I was like, I don't know. Like I have someone very close to my life where his life is literally just work, home by himself, plays video games, goes to bed, repeat that cycle. And I was like, that's not the life I want. So when I'm like, and now my life has changed a lot. I'm in a very serious relationship right now, and that's given me a lot of confidence. I'm like, once I graduate, I got a close group of friends. I'm in this relationship. I'm like, I feel like I'm more like, I can now see the future.
Yeah.
Like I can see what 3 years looks like. And it goes outside work. And I think that's what like a lot of like college kids kind of need to think about. It's like, absolutely, yes, think about a job, but it's just kind of plan for your future. You're young. Most people that graduate, what are they, 22, 23?
Yeah.
So it's just like, yeah, you're still young, but I'm like, it's like the opening to like the beginning to like what your life's going to be, the career path you follow, the people you let in your life. So that's like my big thing because I was like, if you had asked me, 5 months ago, if I was like, what are you going to do after college? I'm like, get a job and I don't know. And if you told me now, I could give you a list like, oh, I'm going to do this. Like it's
another
awesome.
thing I've noticed about like doing like internships and like finding your perfect little area is everyone talks about the friends that like you meet like in high school, but then like personally like I drifted apart from like a lot of my friends in high school, not because like we had like
me too,
not because like we argued or like we did malicious things to each other. It's just we went different ways,
it's the
which
way
is
life
fine.
goes.
Yeah. And so then like trying out all these different jobs, I've met like one of my best friends like in my 20s. And I'm like, did I just meet a new best friend when I'm 20 years old? Like that was unexpected. But like at the same time, that's what I think we all have to look forward to too, is not even just like finding a significant other, finding an actual home to live in, but like finding new friends within your quote unquote perfect life. You know what I mean?
I think that's what part of college you kind of have to do.
Yeah.
Because especially like, I feel like a lot of people when they talk about college experiences, what I've heard the most is I've learned more about me than I did the field I studied.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I think to a degree that's absolutely true. And it kind of goes to that same thing. Like, I know your life changes, even like when you're 50 to age 60. I know that's still like a huge change in your life. But I say this now, like my age now, I have a good firm what the next 50 years are going to look like. I know where I like I've traveled. I know where I would like to live. I know I've tried a few like different jobs and careers. I know what kind of job I want that suits me better and I had the most fun. So I feel like college really is a lot of trial and error, whether it's with people or jobs, internships. It's like,
so I think it's okay not to specifically pinpoint what we need to do after college because there's so much. And like we're all like journalism and communication majors, aren't we?
I think so, yeah.
I think.
I'm a history major.
Yeah, but still with history, there's so many opportunities we can branch out from our majors. There are some majors that I personally think it's hard to like branch out and get a specific job because
like art.
Yes, or like even psychology.
Business
I
major.
feel like if you get it, I feel like psychology, you're closed in to so many, like a specific amount of jobs.
Psychologist.
Yeah.
And I see what you're saying, actually.
Because I never in 100 years thought I'd be doing a journalism major. It was never in my head.
Neither.
And I never thought and like communications, I was like, no, not me. But then that's what I started off with, and now I'm a journalism major, and I'm like, what have I done? Like, who am I?
Right.
Yeah.
But I like it.
That's like, and this is the last thing I'll say. It's just kind of like, it goes to that thing, especially like if people are listening to this and they're coming into college, like I know everyone says, you don't need a major right away. Do the gen ed classes the first year. And I agree with that at all. But my thing is do the gen ed and throw like 4 elective classes that you're just interested in and see what sticks.
Yeah.
And my big thing is make it fun. The 3 worst classes I ever had were the most fun classes because I just tried to make people laugh, did something stupid. Like, you can have a little fun. Like, high school will try to make college. And I get, like, this is a smaller campus compared to most schools. You can have fun and still pass, like, and still make good grades.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's my number one advice. Go into it, keep a good head on your shoulders, but still have fun and try everything out and see what sticks, and you'll pretty much get a good read on your personality after college.
Yeah.
The crazy thing about college is how short it is compared to the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Though, you know, because it's only 4 years long, and the rest of your life is decades. And life is already short as it is, because you'll be 30. And you like all of
8
us,
years.
yeah, all of us will be 30. All of us will be 30 in like less than 5 years, or like more, like around 5 years or so. I don't know how old.
How old are you?
21.
I'm 21 too.
I'm 22.
I'm 23, so I'll be 30 in 7 years. I mean, it just happened in a blink of an eye. So I'm in a position right now where I'm like, it's not really as peachy as some people's. Some people say they have it figured out, but like I'm kind of treading into some like unknown territory because when I graduate, I'm already second guessing like, did I even do the major I should have done? But also when I get to that point, I'm gonna have to pay rent in my house. Student loans will start coming in, so it kind of demands me to get another job anyway. So I have to find something. It's not like I have time to think. So I don't know.
So that's also like reality. I know I just kind of went on a spiel about, oh, you have a chance to like figure it out. Well, like you see exactly like what you're saying. It's like not everything's sunshine and daisies. Like sometimes like it is rough.
Well, and the thing about that is rent's freaking expensive now. Like
It's ridiculous.
it's crazy.
That could be a whole different
and then my
podcast on its
jobs
own
that
rights.
pay, like they're not like one of my jobs literally is like $15 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it, but at the same time, the pay is not there.
Yep.
So if I were to just have that job, I could not pay rent, like, at all.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I have 3 jobs right now, and if I didn't have 3 jobs, like, I would, like, be drowning.
You really have 3 jobs?
Yeah.
What's your third job that's not the restaurant and...
I nanny.
So your nanny, restaurant, what's the third one?
I'm part-time at the prosecutor's office.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's cool.
Yeah. So, my life is always, like, 4 different directions.
I have little difficulties with the live feature, but it shouldn't affect the recording. So that could be like a whole different like podcast in its own right.
What?
Just like in this like day and age, like what
The demand that we have.
Well, just I've always, and I don't want to go much into it. We'll wrap up here in a second. I always had that argument of like, oh, I worked 70 hours a week, 7 days a week, and if you ain't trying as hard as I am, you got it easy. I'm just like, what does that even mean? So like again, that could be a whole different podcast discussion. But overall, I say pretty good.
Maybe that can do next time.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll call it for today. Thank you for listening to the Horizon Radio Show. Goodbye.